All right, everybody. How we doing tonight? It is that time again, time for another episode of Coffee and Creators. I'm your host, the Dad Bod Veteran, the one and only, the voice of Gen X. So this is our fourth episode that we're doing of this. And it feels like I get better and better creators every time that we do this because today we've got a super special guest that's going to come on here. She is part of the foursome, as we are, the Gen X foursome, that is currently planning to take over the world. I don't know how to say it any different than that. That's what we're about to do. She has been part of the TikTok game and the social media game for a lot longer than most of the newer creators. She's a lot more seasoned than we are, and she's got a great story behind a lot of the things that she's done to get herself here. So most of you know her. If you don't know her, you're living under a rock, and I can't really help you. But if you do know her, you're here and you're excited and you're ready to watch the shenanigans happen with her. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight, Miss Kelly Mono. Kelly, come on out to the screen.
I feel like I should do like jazz hands.
Yeah, do jazz hands. Do whatever you gotta do. Crowd's going wild for you. This is exciting. This is good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, so Kelly, thank you,
Yes,
first of all, for being on here with me. I really appreciate this.
you're
As
welcome.
we always like to start out with, we got to hear your story. Like, how did you get here into this social media game? How did you even start doing what you do on social media? And how did you get it to go as far as it's gone? I mean, where'd you start?
Well, let's start at the beginning. I have been an oversharer my entire life. So like I was the kid in kindergarten that would go to their teacher and be like, "Oh my God, my mom and dad got in a fight about this," and like I just have always been an oversharer my whole entire life. And then went to school for radio television. I knew I wanted to do morning radio. Like this was back in the shock jock days. And there was a local radio station in our town called the Stephen DC Show, and I would listen to them every morning on the way to high school. And I was like, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to make prank phone calls and make like fart jokes in the mornings. Like I don't want any other job than that job right there. So my parents made me go to college, got a degree, and then started working for Stephen DC. And morning radio is really just kind of my wheelhouse, like just being with other people, just kind of talking. And then the longer I got in it, the longer I realized that like you can't make any money in radio, like not even a livable wage. And I was like, man, and then I started having babies and a family, and I was like, I need to get a real job. I need to get a real job. And so I did. I started my own photography company, but at the same time, I still was an oversharer. So back in like 2006, I started, I don't know if you'll even know what these are, but there were mommy blogs. There were like popular mommy bloggers that would like blog about their kids, and I would do that, and so many people would read it and they would love it. And then along comes Facebook, and then along comes Instagram. And I always did well on both of those platforms. You know, I got into the Instagram stories during the beta testing when I didn't even know anybody could watch them. I thought it was just me like recording like memories for like me and my kids. And then, they released the numbers and it's like all these people watched you today. And I was like, what? Like, how bored must they be? Because I'm not that exciting. So my Facebook was always really popular. Again, I'm just an oversharer in general. I John, chaotic energy just follows me. It's like part of my inner being. So, something is always going on in my life that's crazy. I'm always sharing it. And then came COVID, you know,
Yeah, the
and
big one. Yeah.
the big one. And what a crazy time. But like, had COVID not happened, like none of this would have happened for me. I mean, like I said, I've always had a big following on Facebook and Instagram. And then COVID hit and I was just bored to death. Like as an extrovert, oh my God, it was one of the hardest times for me my whole life. And I was like, well, all my kids were doing TikTok, and I kind of had a rule that any social media my kids were on, mom was on, right? I would learn how to use it. So I was like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am going to get on TikTok. And my daughter said, whatever you do, just please don't use your real name. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, because we don't want kids at school to know our mom has a TikTok. That's embarrassing. And I was like, why would the kids at your school ever see my TikTok? Like, what? How would they even find me? Like, that's so dumb. Like, why are you even thinking about that? And then, so almost 3 million followers later on TikTok. I think it's safe to say that the kids in their school know have found my TikTok. So it just exploded. I mean, it was a hard time for people. People were sad. People were scared. And I was just making dumb crap. And people just, it was just easy to digest content, and it made people laugh during a crappy time, and they connected with it, and it just blew up.
So you said that like chaos has followed you your whole life, right? And I don't know if that's a Gen X thing because I swear that every time my life is stable, I actually hate it. And I think that might just be part of our traits, is because our world was just so chaotic back then. And
Yes.
we are where we are. But you've been
Yeah.
doing this so long, like you've been doing this for 4 years. Are you bored with it yet? Or I mean, is it still
My
exciting?
No, it's still exciting because I feel like my social media is always evolving. You know, it's not like I started TikTok to be this like Gen X content creator, right? I have evolved with the platform. So when it started, I was just doing silly dances like everybody else was. And then, you know, some people started doing kind of like skits and funny sounds. And then I started doing that. And then, you know, I kind of developed this like second persona of like this homegirl. And I would make these funny homegirl videos. And then it was about 2 years ago that I made a Vanilla Ice video. And that really just like took off, and it like woke up every Gen Xer on the planet. And they were like, oh my God. And I'm like, wow, people really love this content. Like there's nobody, like there was nobody talking about our childhood. Nobody was talking about Gen X 2 years ago, like at all. And so I just started talking about it, and you know, people loved it. But I mean, I can't promise I'm going to be talking about Gen X in 2 years. Like I'm always changing and evolving, and I do get bored easy. So whatever's going on next in my life, I'm sure I'll share with everybody, whether it's, you know, Gen X stuff or
I
not.
think as a true Gen Xer, if you stayed on the same topic for very long, that would be the death of you, right? Because
Yes.
we have to change. We have to recycle for everything. I mean, I have so many hobbies that I do for
Oh,
5 minutes and then I quit. And
oh,
I think that's
100%.
a generational curse. So yeah,
It's a
I can't see.
generational
I
curse.
just can't
Plus,
see it staying on there forever.
when you combine like a Gen Xer with ADD, like the old school kind, like before it was cool, like you know, like
The
real
good ADD,
ADD.
the good
Oh, it's a
stuff.
train wreck. It's a
Yeah.
train wreck. I mean,
So
like,
are you a diagnosed ADD kid?
yes.
Oh my
I
God.
had teachers. Oh, I had two different teachers like talk to my mom and say, and even talk to me, because my hyperactivity was never in my body. Like I wasn't a kid who like couldn't sit still and did all of the hyperactivity is in my brain, all of it. And it's extremely hard for me to focus because I'm overstimulated by a lot of different noises, like auditory things. But back then, medicating your kids was terrifying. It was terrifying. It was like Ritalin was like the new thing. And my mom was like, I am not putting a kid on Ritalin. And I don't blame her.
Your
I don't
mom
get
should have
on
talked to
that.
my mom because my mom didn't care. I was taking Ritalin and I was a vegetable. I was a vegetable all the time.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
You know, well, you know, I guess, you know, it wasn't affecting my like daily life other than I started making really bad grades. And then I started thinking the worst part about having ADD when you're young and that it wasn't very well known is that you think you're stupid. And I spent such a large portion of my life, like back in high school, really thinking I was stupid, and seeing my friends be able to study for a test or read something and then comprehend it and then like regurgitate it back down. And I'm like, why can't I do that? Like, God, what is wrong with me? You know, but then I'll pick up a Rubik's Cube and I'll solve it in 2 minutes. So that's easy for me. And I can, my creative brain never turns off. And so anytime I would have one creative class, like, you know, all day you've got math and chemistry and all this bull crap. I would have one like speech class or one something where I could like actually like be creative. And it was what I lived for all day long. So, you know, the only thing that I regret about not being medicated when I was younger was that I really thought I was stupid. Like I just really thought I was stupid.
So
So
were you in a special needs class because of her?
no, no. As a matter of
You got
fact, I was in
lucky.
I was
You
in
got lucky.
advanced placement of everything. So
Oh,
when I was in fourth grade, I tested so high that they put me in the fifth grade class. And then I would come back to my class for lunch and like recess. And then in fifth grade, they put me in the sixth grade class and I'd come back for like lunch and recess. And then when I got to like junior high, I was in all these advanced classes, and it was like the smarter you were, the more pressure they put on you. And it was like, I get that I'm good at math, but that doesn't mean I want to do like geometry. Like I had
right.
no interest in that stuff. Like basic knowledge came easy to me, but then putting the pressure on me to like boost it up, it was awful. I got dropped out of all my classes. I was a straight C student, like all through high school. Like I think I only got C's so that I could stay on the dance team. like you had to
The
have
dance
certain grades.
team. You were on a dance team. Okay.
I was a
Okay.
pom pom
Okay.
girl.
Yeah. Okay. Now I was the spider monkey on Mountain Dew, kind of ADHD, so I was
Okay.
in special needs class. I also had a speech impediment, which is a long story, but anyway, dance class because my daughter was dance, for the band and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
let's dive into the dance thing. How did that get started?
I mean, like I just always could dance. Like I never, I was a cheerleader in junior high and I always did gymnastics. And then in our town, like back in the 90s, like making the Granite City Pom Squad was like the thing because it was like all the little girls would go to the parades and see the pom girls, and that's what everybody wanted to do. And my freshman year, like I think like 90 something girls tried out and like maybe like 7 or 8 made it. And I made the squad and I did it for 4 years. Well, hang on. I got kicked off twice.
Sorry. Say
I
again.
got kicked off twice. I got kicked off twice
Okay.
in the same year, but they let
Why?
me back.
Why? Wait. Let's back it up. Back it up. Back it up. We gotta go down there. We gotta go down. Why would you get kicked off?
Um, so the first time I got kicked off, it was because I thought it would be funny to go out on a performance and pretend I forgot the routine. Just because my friends
Okay.
dared me to. Like it was like
So
you should screw.
nothing illegal so far. All right.
No, well that's coming. Vandalism is next. So, so
Vandalism.
when I tell you I went out there and screwed up the tryout or the routine on purpose, like I took it way too far. I was like throwing my props and shit. And like as soon as the program was done, my dance teacher's like, why would you do that? And I'm like, I just forgot the routine. And she's like, you were throwing shit. But I loved making people laugh. And I just knew that if I messed up that routine on purpose, like all my friends would think it was really funny. And I almost never turned down a dare. I got class daredevil in like the class traits
Okay.
things. So then they let me back on, but I was on like a probationary period. And
And then
and then I wrote on the bathroom wall, and it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big of a deal, but then it caused other people to write back on the bathroom wall, and then wrote back on the bathroom wall, and then it turned into like this
so
this
it's your
war.
first blog. This is your first blog right here. It was on a bathroom wall in high school.
So it was, and I got kicked off for vandalism. So they had to repaint the entire bathroom.
So it's a MySpace blog. You did MySpace before MySpace was cool.
Pretty much. That's all it was. I was just
That's not a
writing
big
notes back
deal.
and forth to a girl,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not
I
a
mean,
big deal.
did you put like did you put pictures beside when you made a comment and then somebody else put a different picture beside it so that you could identify if these comments were whose?
Oh,
I mean,
I
was it that
definitely drew
good?
some pictures. I definitely drew pictures on the bathroom wall, and they were not appropriate, but it was not to necessarily identify myself. It was like, how big of a penis can I draw on this whole wall? And then, and so then
Okay.
I got kicked off again. And then they let me back on my senior year under the terms that I would be like
So
an
that means
A.
you were good. That means you were good, right? Because anybody
I
who
was
gets
good.
kicked off of any
There
athletic
was
team and brought back, they're good.
Sure. There was one other incident that involved we were on a bus trip going to some dance competition and we stopped at a McDonald's to eat, and I guess I took some inappropriate pictures with the Ronald McDonald statue outside. And that was back in the film days. Like, you couldn't prove it. Like, another mom had saw what I did. And in my defense, like, I'm pretty sure I just took balls from the ball pit and like I put them in my bra and like stuck my boobs in his face and like, just took some funny kid pictures. But apparently that was like disgraceful to our team and our whatever. So I was forever the black sheep. But all that to say, that's how I started dancing.
So this is our generational benefit right here. I'm sure that everybody talks about this all the time, but the fact that we didn't have any cameras available or any online media available back in the day, because I promise, just as much as you, the same way with me, if there would have been evidence, I'd be locked up for that.
Oh my God. I mean, like, there was nothing I wouldn't do. Like, there was almost nothing that I wouldn't do. Like, if somebody dared me to do something, I'm like, let's go. I was like the friend who, like, everyone was like, hey, we should go to this like party and do this. And I'm like, oh, we should go to the party and set something on fire. Like, I always had to, like, I was never satisfied with just hanging out. Like, I always had to like hype shit up and like, but what if we do this instead? And, yeah, I caused a big fire.
So which one of your children are the 10x of you?
None
Because
of
you
them.
always have one.
None of them are as bad as I was. Not even
Really?
close. And I think it's because I kind of never lost that. Like, even as a mom, I still have that, like, let's do crazy stuff. I just have to dial it down a little bit. And I am so on top of like shady behavior. Like, I feel like I was born to be a criminal, but then I decided not to, because like my brain can always think of the shadiest way to do something, or like a shortcut, or like, how do I sneak this out and not tell my mom? And how do I, because I would outsmart my mom on everything. I was stealing her car when I was like 14 years old. And then she found out that I was stealing the car. So she'd put a rock on the tire, and then I found the rock. So I would take the rock off and then I'd put it back on. And then she would mark it with chalk. And I'd be like, well, I'm just going to go get the chalk and re-chalk the tire when I park it. Like, I just outsmart. I've always been able to outsmart almost anyone when it comes to just original thinking. So my kids don't have a chance. I'm one step ahead of them. So no, my parents, especially my mom, like, that woman, like, she deserves a trophy. Like, she deserves. I was not an easy kid to raise. But I have a little brother.
Is it a trophy for not killing you between then and now?
It's a trophy for keeping me alive. I mean, I think she honestly sent me out in the world every day and just hoped I came back in one piece. I was like, I know I can't really control what this girl's going to do today, or if she's going to jump off the school roof or what, like, it just, but I did have a younger brother. I have a younger brother, and he's an angel and made perfect grades. And he was like a science nerd. Yeah. And he's grown up to be a special education teacher. So he's the good one in the family.
Yeah, there's got to be a good one. But so there's no middle kid. You're the bottom.
Huh?
You're the baby. There's no middle kid.
Yeah, I'm the top, and my brother's the youngest. So I'm the oldest daughter in my family.
Okay, you're the oldest. That's
yeah, I'm
crazy.
the oldest daughter and the oldest granddaughter of like my dad's family. So when you're like
very out of character for an oldest to be the wild one, because my older brother is a saint of all saints. He's the best thing since sliced bread.
And I come from the quietest people you've ever met in your life. I mean, like, my mom is super friendly and outgoing, but I mean, she's not like trying to get attention all the time. She's not obnoxious. My dad and brother, like, don't say anything unless you talk to them first. And even like my grandparents and like my aunts on my dad's side, I come from very simple, quiet people. I don't know how I ended up like this. I have no freaking idea. No idea.
So let's talk about your kids, because you said that your kids have told you about don't use your actual name because we don't want anybody to know. When it started taking off, what was their reaction to all this shenanigans on social media, of you being a social media influencer?
Well, they were really excited at first, and I didn't know what the big deal was, because I was used to sharing stuff and it getting a lot of response on Facebook or Instagram. And, my kids came like barreling in my room one day and they're like, Mom, your Instagram has 4,000 views or your TikTok. And I'm like, okay, is that good? And they're like, oh my God, that's crazy. I think one time I hit like 10,000 and they thought I went viral and they were like, oh my God. And all their friends were talking about it. But this was during COVID. So my kids didn't have to see anybody or like really deal with it. So it was just kind of like fun stuff. And then it was like, wow, mom has 100,000 followers. And then it was like, wow, everybody knows who our mom is. And it just kind of, it grew from there. It's a weird thing to become. I'll never use the word famous because that's so stupid, especially for people on social media. Just I have a public job. That's how I think of it, is like the job that I have. People see my face and that's how they know me. It's like a news anchor or something like that. But to get that kind of like notoriety or be recognized in a time when the whole world was quiet and then all of a sudden we had to come back out and everyone knew who I was, that was bizarre. That was really, really weird. So
now, being the kind of more introverted person that you are, how did you handle that when it happened out in public? I mean, you're at the grocery store and you're looking for bananas, and all of a sudden somebody goes, "Oh my God, it's you!" I mean, how did that go down for you?
So surprisingly, I handled it horribly. Because I didn't know how to act and I didn't know what was expected of me. And again, it's a weird thing because everyone knows who you are, but you're not a celebrity. Like everyone knows who you are, but you don't do anything. Like you're not a sports person or like an athlete. And I was like, I don't know where I fit in. Like, and people would come up and say like, hi to me. And then I would be like, do they should I ask them if they want a picture with me? No, they're going to say no. They're going to say no. Like they don't want a picture. I could not bring myself to say like, oh yeah, do you want a picture like together? Could not say it. And then to this day, I have never done a meet and greet because I am convinced that nobody will show up.
Wow.
Have you seen those TikToks where people are like, oh, this creator did a meet and greet and nobody came? I'm like, that would be
yeah. Or
I,
the creators, and I mean, the early version of that was the book signing, right? Somebody put a book out and they're sitting there with all their books ready to sign them, and they're like, "No, wow!" Right?
and like nobody's there.
Yeah. I have the exact same fear. Exact same
Yeah,
fear.
it's very much imposter syndrome. It very much is. And like people will, I really try to help like local charities and stuff like that, like anybody who needs me. But then a lot of times people will be like, hey, will you please come host this thing for us? Because we want like all these people to come. And it's like, oh my God, don't put that pressure on me. Like I'll come and host it, but I don't think people are going to come just to see me. Like, don't assume
Right.
that's going to happen. And then I feel bad if yeah, it's the whole imposter syndrome thing. And so it's much better now. Like I'm completely fine with it now, with people recognizing me. It's just hard because I don't know when people recognize you in public, do they say, oh, hey, Dad Bod, I love your social media? Do they say something like that?
No, what I get all the time is, "Hey, you look like that guy." That's what I get. I don't ever get the official, "You are that guy." I get the
Yeah.
you look like that guy, because when I talk, then they're all go, "Oh, that's not him."
Right. Because
I
you got
very
that accent, which
I know, because
I did not
I
know
don't
that
walk
was
around.
fake.
I don't walk around talking like old English guy.
Which is
But
funny because you really had me. I thought it was real.
and
But
obviously I had the entire world.
yeah.
But when it first started happening for me, when it first started happening, it was awkward. I was kind of like, "Gosh, I don't know what to say. Oh,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you." You know,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
felt like a big dodo bird, and
Same.
and the missus was always with me. She seems to be with me every time it happens.
Yes.
And so she was a little, set back by it. And but then we've gotten better at it. In fact, we work together on it. She actually carries like the stickers in her purse and stuff. And she'll look at people and she goes, "Well, guy, oh, okay." So then I actually
Not a
start
bad
going and
idea.
talking to
Great
people.
stickers.
You know what I mean? Yeah, just
That's a
carry
smart.
some stickers with me. And she's always like, "Ask them if they want a picture. They want a picture." So,
Do
ask them.
they? But they don't ask me. Like they don't ask.
They always want it. Listen, I can tell you that everyone wants a picture because we live in picture land, right? There's no evidence if you don't have a picture. They all
Yeah.
want a picture. Everybody wants a
And
picture. In the comments, people, tell us right now, if you guys saw us out in public, would you want a picture with either of us? Or both of us, maybe it's even both of us.
I mean, they
Some
come
of
up
you
and
will
they're
get to
like,
see both of us.
yeah, they're like, oh my God, Kelly, I love your TikTok. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I do, because if I didn't have viewers, I wouldn't have a job. But then I'm like, okay, oh, okay, have a good day. Like, because I want to say, like, do you want a picture? But then I'm so scared
See,
they're going to
look,
reject me and I'm going to look stupid.
everybody, fangirl, absolutely. Of course, I want a picture. Yes, definitely. See, this is what they want. They
I
want
know.
a little piece of memory that they met us.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be the
And
same
I
thing.
was
It's like I
really,
don't Madonna. If you like walked up to Madonna, would you want to snap a selfie with her if she gave you the chance?
yeah, because it's Madonna. Like,
Okay,
I
you're
mean, like,
Madonna. You're like a micro Madonna. See,
okay,
that's the hardest
sure.
thing for us in our simple 40-plus-year-old brains to understand is that there are
Yeah.
some people that perceive us in that light. That's the
It's,
hardest thing for us to understand because we work jobs, we went to school, and we've got kids, and we've never been involved in the stardom situation. But the
yeah.
reality is, some people see us,
Oh my God.
and
And
that's what
depending
they
on
want.
the environment, like you got that big old beard, so you can't really hide
Like,
like when you're out.
I don't want. Okay, what's the there? Let me ask you a question. What's the worst place, or what's the most? I'm not gonna call it worst. What's the most interesting place that someone has recognized you? You just
Oh, bathrooms all the time. Women's bathrooms. I'll be in there washing my hands and they'll, you know, somebody will freak out behind me and I'm like, what? What's going on? And they're like, you. And I'm like,
you go pee. Oh my God, I can't believe that you pee where I pee.
yeah. And so, but like, I can blend in pretty easy. So if I go to like a baseball game or like a hockey game and we're somewhere where everyone is focused on something else, nobody's recognizing me. I can wear a ball cap, not a big deal. But if I go somewhere that's like where my audience would be, it's crazy. Like I went to the Taylor Swift concert and it was like my girls, they left me. They left me. I got stopped so many times. They're like, we're going to the seats. Come find us later. And they were gone. And then a year and a half, like last year or the year before, I don't ever shop on Black Friday, but my girls really wanted to go. And I was like, fine, we can go to Black Friday. And I think because it was so packed and because it's women my age who are Black Friday shopping, and because we're in a mall and we're constantly facing each other, like as we were walking,
Yeah,
I had to go
you
to the
see
car.
that look. You
Yeah,
see
I had to
that
go to the
look.
car because
Yeah,
I couldn't make it 5 feet, and my girls were just annoyed. It wasn't like people were swarming me, but it was like I
no,
couldn't
no, no.
shop because everywhere I
Yeah.
went, somebody knew who I was, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the car, girls, and I'm just gonna hang out there. So depending on where I am, like I can totally fly under the radar. It's not a big deal. But then,
So it's the bathroom for you is the worst spot.
yeah, what about you? Where's the weirdest spot you've been organized?
Yeah. So as an adult, we all have to go and get procedures done, right? And one of
The
those
what?
checks that we have to, I said as adults, we have to go get procedures done, right? We got to go get some certain checks done, right? Well, one of those checks is called a colonoscopy. Okay. And there I was. It was after said event. I'm coming out of anesthesia, and I'm like, and like drooling all over myself. And she's like, "Oh my God, that's you! That's
Yeah.
you! It's you right there! You're right here!" Like
Yes.
so.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
But wait, it gets better because then she comes over, and the missus is sitting beside me as I'm like, I'm all drugged up. And she hands the phone to the missus and said, "Can you take a selfie of us?" I bullshit you not. I
Were
actually
you
turned
still
it
in like your
into,
scrubs?
I was still in my scrubs, I had glasses on, I had no hat. I mean, the beard was all like, "Brr." And I was like drooling on myself because I was coming out of anesthesia. And she's
Yeah.
like, hugging all over me, and the missus is the one who took the selfie. Oh my
Yeah. Well,
God.
I guess the one place was I got LASIK done, and I was like under the laser, and that it's a procedure. It's more than I thought. And they have this. It feels
Yeah,
like an
no,
elephant is sitting on your eye, and they're like, "Don't move." And then one of the ladies was like, "Oh my God, I love your TikTok. Can you tell me about the time you met Vanilla Ice?" And I'm like, "They're cutting my eye. Like you're gonna make me move." Like I was really stressed out about that, but
yeah, it
so
happens. It now happens everywhere. It now happens everywhere. It's part of our life. But you're gonna actually do a meet and greet, right? Are you doing a
yeah.
meet and greet too?
Apparently, I
You
am.
apparently you are doing a meet and greet, and we're I mean we're gonna plug it real quick. We're gonna
Yeah.
plug it. We gotta plug it. That's why we have to do it. We are all doing a meet and greet in Nashville, September 1st.
Yeah.
We've got the first ever Gen X takeover is going to occur in Nashville on September 1st. We'll plug this real quick and then we'll go back to shenanigans. But we've already sold out two comedy shows. Two comedy
Yeah.
shows.
Apparently I do stand up now. Who knew?
Apparently, we all do. Apparently, I
Yeah.
didn't know that I did, but I do now, and I'm going to do two shows in a row. So if I
Yeah.
screw up the first one, hopefully I can make the second one better.
Yeah.
But those are unfortunately already sold out. Both shows are sold out, but we still have the house party tickets available. So if anybody's going to Nashville or is in the Nashville area that's in here right now, get those tickets because they're going fast. You get to see myself, the real Slim Sherry, Kelly, and Mr. Professor Nick Harrison. We're all going to be there together for the first ever Jedi Takeover, which probably is going to be the first of many.
And we're really going to get recognized if we're all together. Like, I mean, if somebody's didn't know we're in town and they come around the corner and all four of us are standing there, it's like Gen X worlds collide. But yeah, so the tickets that remain are for the house party. And honestly, that's what I'm most excited about. I'm like, I get that the comedy show sold out, but don't be bummed about that. Like, we might not even be that good. Like, I don't know.
Really.
Like, I don't want people to think that they shouldn't come if they didn't make it to didn't get comedy tickets, because we rented out this entire arcade. And did you see on the photos that they have an indoor slide?
What?
They have a slide that goes from like one floor to the next. Unless it's a different location. It's on the cover of their Facebook. Arcade. Yeah, so it's going to be literally like we rented out this like arcade bar type thing for 5 hours. And there's no agenda there. It's not like these four are on stage and comment. No, we're just going to be hanging out. And I want to make sure other creators know that they're welcome too, because every time I see one of these get-togethers on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, like especially TikTok, like nobody ever really invited me to shit. So like I never went to anything because I was like, well, I'm not going to show up as a creator, but I wasn't invited, So when we were doing this, that was my big fear, was that I was scared that other content creators, especially Gen X content creators, were going to be like, well, I don't want to come to that because they didn't invite me. So it's like the arcade party, like we just organized it. That's all. We just organized it. So I would love to meet other Gen X content creators and just let them know that don't feel like, oh my God, because that's not what this is. This is the opposite of that. We're just going to be hanging out.
Yeah, this is just a straight up hangout. So there's all kinds of games. There's pinballs. There's arcade games. There's also giant Jenga. There's giant what's called beer pong, which is basically with a basketball and stuff. There's all kinds of these other games. So don't just think this is like an arcade and for you to geek out in. This is actual interactive gaming and stuff like that. So my plan is I'm going to be hanging out the giant Jenga, whipping up on some people. So if somebody thinks they're a giant Jenga master,
just a minute. Before you claim your giant Jenga like title, you need to understand that I am very good at that. I am very good at Jenga, the big Jenga. Okay. And I don't know, how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay. So I'm 5'1", and I can get low to the ground in those Jenga.
But can you get high? But can you get way up here?
It only goes to like 5 feet. So no, like I'm fine. But like
I've had them up to my face, up to my eyes.
Okay, here's the thing. Well, then we're gonna have to negotiate that the Jenga tower is somewhere between us so that I can get low and you can get high.
No, I'm saying that's how high the stack gets. Right.
Well, I'm not going to jump up for it, but I'd like to beat you, so.
Okay, you'll have a chance. Everybody will have a chance. Everybody that's here as well. So hopefully everybody in the comments is thinking about getting their giant Jenga on and hanging out with us. But if it ain't giant Jenga, everybody's going to be walking around just hanging out. That's all it is. It's going to be 5 hours. And then,
skee-ball and bowling?
Who knows what will happen after?
Huh?
Other things could happen after.
After?
Yeah. We could go downtown. Yeah.
Going to bed. That's what I'm doing after.
We're going to be downtown Nashville.
Listen, can we just tell people how this all evolved? Can we just put it out there? Because
I thought we did.
Let me tell you how it happened. I think it was Nick that I originally started talking to, and we were going back and forth about like business stuff. Like, hey, you know, because working in social media is like the wild, wild west. Everything's always different. You're trying to figure out, you know, where the income is at. And then I said, you know what? We should do a get together. And he's like, that's a great idea. I'm like, who do you want to invite? And he's like, well, I just saw Sherry in Vegas. And, you know, I know this guy, John, because you guys haven't met in person, right? Just.
No, I think that I was like at the bottom of the list, and you guys called a bunch of people and they didn't answer, and so I
No,
was the first one to pick up.
no, you were batting cleanup. You're the fourth hitter, so you were always in that spot. But we got on a call and we're like, let's get together. Let's get together. And I was like, yeah, let's get together, but I don't fly, so like it's got to be somewhere kind of by me. And then you guys are like, let's do Nashville, and I'm like, perfect, I can drive there. And I was like, this is going to be so much fun, you guys. We're going to like play board games and have a bonfire.
Yeah,
and
I remember that. I remember
we're just
that.
going to hang out in the house all weekend. And I was like already thinking about like what games I was going to bring. And like, we're going to have a pajama night and like a pizza
So we're gonna
party.
paint our toenails, and we're gonna make popcorn and watch rom-coms, and
And be in bed at 10 o'clock. And then now
and then somebody drink.
you assholes got me doing 2 comedy shows at a 5-hour party. And I'm like, how did this happen? I was like, board games. And then they're like, what about one comedy show? And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then they're like, well, what about one like after like a reception? I'm like, oh, I can do that. They're like, well, it's 5 hours. And I'm like, and then they're like, yeah. And then they're like, can we have a second comedy show? Like everybody else said, yes, Kelly, you're the last one that has to answer. And I was like, fine.
No peer pressure at all.
Right, no peer pressure. But I just want you guys to know that this started with me inviting everybody to play board games in our pajamas. Because again, I don't do like big public events or like meet and greets or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be like scared or worried of it. I'm definitely an extrovert and I do great in crowds. It just evolved very quickly. And you know, the imposter syndrome I have of like, is anybody going to come? Are they going to think we're funny? You know, that's there a little bit, but I know it's going to be a good time.
And I'm going to try to
stay out until 10.
Heather's got a great point. Okay. Downtown Nashville is fun to just people watch. Okay. I went to downtown Nashville after we did the NASCAR race that I got to be part of. And just going on top of the bars and people watching when they close the streets down is freaking awesome. I mean, that's where the Hawk Tuah girl got discovered.
Is it?
Yes. She was just walking down Broadway, and some dude with a video camera just interviewed her, and poof, Hawk Tuah girl now is richer than all of us put together. That's how it happened. It's such a cool environment. It's so cool.
I love Nashville. I love Nashville as a city. It's very fun. But don't you think at our age, after doing 2 stand-up shows, and you know, those shows come with, I definitely wouldn't say I'm nervous for those shows at all. I'm not nervous, but it comes with a peak of like anxiety, the rush, and then the come down. And then we're going to do another one, and then we're going to do come down. And then we're going to eat some food and kind of sleepy. And then we're going to go to this big party for like 5 hours. Like, are you not going to be done? Like at the end of that?
We're going to take a nap between the comedy show.
Our whole day is
full. Like 3 hours. We got 3 hours between the comedy show and the house party. We're gonna be okay. But look, all right, 2 things. Number 1, I'm absolutely terrified of doing stand-up comedy because I don't do presentations like that. I've done it before, but I'm not good at it. And then I'm gonna try to have to be funny at the same time. So I'm working on that one right there. But the second thing is you're gonna get plenty of sleep when you're dead.
Okay? I'm gonna get plenty of sleep when I'm dead.
That's right. So you're gonna get plenty of sleep when you're dead. So don't be in a rush to take it all now, okay? We're going to make it. We're going to get through this together, and we're going to reinvigorate ourselves because we're going to have to do it again. Someone else.
Just don't let me drink. The last thing you guys want to do is have to take care of a drunk Kelly, because that is like taking care of.
That is on your BL. Okay, that is his responsibility.
Yeah,
that is not our responsibility. I got my own. Yeah. I got my own cat wrangler. She'll try to keep me straight, but you know, there's a whole different DVD that they don't need to see.
People are like, why don't you drink? I'm like, have you seen me drunk? It goes up to like a ratchet level of like 500. Like there's nothing I won't do. So yeah, no, I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
It also makes me sleepy.
are promoting the nose candy. There will be no nose candy there. There will be no
Is
nose
that is, it,
candy.
is that drugs?
That's
Is that
that's
drugs?
that's the cocaine.
I
That's the
don't. Yeah,
drug
I don't.
stuff.
I
You don't do that.
actually, with as bad
You
of a
don't.
kid as I was, I'm such a good girl when it comes to all that stuff. Like I've never done
So
anything. So,
you've never, have you ever smoked pot? The devil's lettuce, the devil's broccoli?
like twice in college, and it made me extremely paranoid.
Wow, I only did it once from 1990 to 1997. That entire period was one time.
It just, yeah.
It was
It,
one period of
inhaling,
experimentation.
yeah, like I was a cigarette smoker for like 12 years.
Oh
And
yeah,
so like
me too.
so inhaling that smoke again, it like almost brings back that like addiction of like, oh my God, I need cigarettes. And I don't ever want to go back to that. So
It was
um
actually the devil's broccoli that got me smoking because you'd always have a Newport right after you had a little bit of the devil's broccoli. That's
wait,
what Newports are for.
is the devil's broccoli weed? I don't know why I'm whispering, but I don't know what any of these drugs are.
The devil's broccoli is the Mary Jane for left-handed cigarettes, the foot pedals to the others.
I know what Mary
La
Jane is. Yep.
cucaracha. Yeah, there you go. That's all the devil's broccoli. That's all. You
Yep.
gotta go see. You gotta go watch Stoner Gump. Have you ever seen him on TikTok? Stoner Gump. Check him out. The
Uh-uh.
guy's
I will.
hilarious. He's
I
so
will.
awesome. He
Like a
sounds
lot
like
of my friends are weed connoisseurs. I don't judge it at all. It's
no,
just
because you're in Missouri, right? You're in
yeah.
Missouri.
So
Yeah,
it's
he's down on
legal.
the Ozarks. He's down on the
Yeah.
Ozarks.
Oh, yeah. I'm a control freak. That's why I don't fly. Like if they let me fly the plane, I'd go. Like, but I'm a control freak. So then the thought of being like drunk or like high or anything where I can't control like everything going on is
I used to
so.
work for the people that make airplanes. Their name starts with a D, and that's why I
Oh
don't
yeah, we know that.
I don't think so because again, they showed me things. I don't like that, but I'm okay with it now. I mean, if we're gonna die, we're gonna right. We get one time to do it.
Yeah, but
Plane crashing to do
mine's not going to be in an airplane.
it. Hey, your
So
family gets paid. I mean, they get paid. They
they
get
do.
paid. Yeah, they get paid. Oh
I didn't
man,
know
die in a
that.
plane crash. Die in a work-related plane crash. It's even better, right? Because then you're going to get paid out your accidental death and dismemberment plus your life insurance. I mean, it's a good deal. If you want to die, die in a
This
work
just,
probably.
this just took a really dark turn, John.
Dark comedy. That's what we do, right? Dark comedy. It's
Right?
fun. Everything's fine.
People are like, "How
All
are you
right.
so funny?" I'm like, "Thanks, it's the trauma."
It's the trauma that binds us. It's okay. All right. So I want
Yeah.
to take some time before we run out of time to give the crowd here some opportunities to ask you some questions that they may have not had the candid opportunity to ask. So in the
Can you see the
comments,
questions because I cannot?
huh? Yeah, you can see them. You have to hit the comment thing.
I what?
Yeah, there's a comment bar over there. Hey, everybody in the comments, if you want to ask
All right,
Kelly
this is
an
gonna be
awesome
like a
question,
close up of my
she's
boob.
learning
Hang
tech.
on.
She's learning tech. Go ahead and
Oh
send it,
my
and
God! I just now saw those.
I know. See all these people here? They're here for you.
Oh my God! I didn't even know people were really watching. But like, okay,
There's really people here, and they've been talking to me. I've been popping the comments up every once in a while. So if you guys got any questions for Kelly,
if you have any questions, let me know. I'm a pretty
oh,
open book. Somebody said if the
oh
80s
my
didn't kill
God.
us, nothing will. And they're
Yes,
right.
and she's learning technology. She's learning technology. I'm helping.
I'm not
I'm
learning
helping her.
technology. I'm just doing the bare minimum of it. Like I feel like my brain is full and anything I have to learn now has to kick out other stuff. And so like I just don't want to learn it. I just want people to show me how to do it.
Have you seen that Jennifer Aniston commercial where she's like, she says exactly that. She's like, if I have to learn something new, something gets kicked out. And this chick
No,
has
I
this
haven't.
haircut.
That's my brain.
She has
That's
this
my brain.
haircut from Friends, and they're like, yeah, it's your cut. And she's like, no, it's not. It's not my haircut. It's hilarious. You should watch it. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Look, you've got people that are GC Pride. I don't know what GC Pride is, but I think you do.
that's Granite City.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
Oh, that's your people? That's your
That's my
people?
hometown. They love me. Like I'm
Let's
honest to
see.
God surprised I don't have a billboard yet. Cause I I love my hometown and they love me. And so yeah. I always call
Okay.
myself like the princess of Granite City. So
From Denise McCoy. Do your
Mhm.
kids need to work the TV for you, Kelly?
I I got it most of the time. If it's just going from TV to like the because I still have cable like 1995. You can pry cable out of my cold dead damn hands. Like I will never. I tried getting rid of cable once, and it was the worst 2 days of not only my life but everyone in my family's life because they had to deal with me. And it was like I couldn't figure out all the apps and all, so I have cable, so I can work the TV on my own. Thank you very much. So.
Here's a question. What happened to your weekly or bi-weekly Kelly Mono show?
Oh, so see, this is where my ADD comes in. Of like, I get really excited because I worked in radio for so long. I had a podcast for 5 years, and then over the summer, when summer started, I was like, "Oh my God, I should do the podcast again." And I did, and I started it, and I loved it. And then it was like after a couple months, I was like, "Well, that was fun," like because here. I'll be honest, I got sick of myself. Like I already barfed my life like all over the internet, like on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. So when it came down to sit down to do like a podcast or a show, I had nothing left to give. I'm like, you guys already know everything about me. I've told you everything I did this week. And it was like, by the time I got to the show, I felt drained. Like if there's ever an opportunity, if somebody said to me right now, Kelly, you can pick one medium and you're going to be successful at it, I would pick a podcast because it is my favorite thing to do. But combined with everything else, it's just on pause for a little while. That's all.
You know what?
Whenever
we found the same thing.
Huh?
When we do our big podcast, we found the same thing. So that's why we broke it up into seasons, right? So we finished season 1 back in April, I think. And everybody's been asking where the podcast goes. So now we will finally start filming the podcast again this Saturday. Will be the beginning of season 2. So
when you do this job, and I don't know if you have this too, I get so sick of my own face. I get so sick of my own voice. It's like we're constantly on camera. We have to film it, and then we have to sit and edit it. And it's like, so I kind of was sick of myself by the time I was doing the podcast. So
well, that's why I have different voices. So
you know what? Maybe that's what I need. Maybe
you should do that. Maybe you should get into different alternate voices. I mean, pick something. I mean, what have you ever wanted to be? Just want to be a magical princess. I mean, you could try something.
Oh my gosh, I could totally be like a '90s Valley girl because that's
you
like
should totally be like a '90s Valley girl.
Yes,
you should do it. Awesome.
I still, if I imitate teenagers today, I'll do the Valley girl voice, and that's not how they talk. Got kids today, they do like the vocal fry and like all their words just trail off and but like I still I'll do like
the emo dying voice.
Yes, like that, like oh my God, like that was so cringe. But like I still, when I think of a teenager, I think of like a Valley girl,
You know what?
So,
my sister is KJ the millennial, and she talks like a Valley girl. And I spend the entire podcast with her. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
For both of us, question for both of us from Cheryl. Did you have to get comfortable with being on camera and do the editing and so forth, or was it instant for you? I'll let you answer that first.
Well, get comfortable. No, I've always been comfortable in front of an audience. Like just always. So like that part never bothered me. I just get sick of my own face because I have to stare at it all the time when I'm editing. And I'm like, I'm freaking sick of my face, throw my phone across the room. But no, I've always been comfortable in front of a crowd or in front of a camera. It's always come easy to me.
Okay. Well, I was the complete opposite. If you watch my early stuff, you can actually tell that I was uncomfortable. And it took a good year for me to get comfortable staring at the lens like I'm doing right now. I had to learn how to stare at the lens. That was the hardest part. But now I'm fine with it. So
like
there you go.
When we go to Nashville and we do our like appearances and stuff, you're gonna be like, oh my God, Kelly, what were you worried about? You were fine. Because once I'm there and once I'm in front of the crowd, I'm completely fine. All of the anxiety is in the lead up to it. It's like almost like if you're like a performer or a dancer, it's like you're nervous, but then as soon as the music starts, you know that you've got it. You're confident you got it under control.
So Kelly, to Derek, are you going to the 30-year class reunion?
Is it time for that already? It almost is.
It is. Well, it really is. Should be 90. So, you're 97 or 96?
I'm 96. So here's the thing. Okay. I ended my 20th high school reunion drunk in my pom girl outfit, sitting on a curb outside of the bar. Because at some point during the reunion, I thought I should go put on my pom uniform, because originally I just brought it to like be on display, right? To like show people like we had like
Oh my
old
God.
nostalgia. And then I was like, I bet I can get in that uniform. And I ran in the bathroom and I'm putting it on and I'm drunk as a skunk and nothing fits. The skirt doesn't even kind of zip. And then I just decided to go out and dance. And then, you know, the night got long and I got tired and sleepy. So I took a little nap on a parking curb. And yeah, so my 20th high school reunion ended like that. So 30th, we'll see.
Hey,
We'll
30th,
see.
you got to go big or go home. You got to top the thing. Okay, you got to do hard. And to be honest with you, we for my 20-year, Mrs. DBD went to the 20-year with me, which we didn't go to high school together, but we got really hammered too for some reason. Like we rented out we did a boat cruise, right, on the harbor here,
Yeah.
and we just got blasted. I don't know what it
I
was. Maybe that's a 20-year anniversary then. I don't know.
I went in the bathroom and put on a 20-year-old cheerleading uniform and then came out. Like, I didn't have a small class, okay? Hundreds of people, and just came out in the middle of the reunion in a cheerleading outfit that was 9 times too small for me. And with all the confidence in the world, just put on an entire dance routine for everybody. And then I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, what? Like, I don't know. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
Okay, so this question, let's answer this real quick. Please post the actual DBD Facebook page. I see too many that I don't trust. For both of us, if you guys
Yeah.
look at the top of the screen, you will see 2 QR codes. If you're watching on TV or some other device, you can click those QR codes. It's going to take you to our link trees. And all of our official links for all of our shows are there. That's the best way for any creator for you to find their official links, is their link tree. Everybody's got one of some sort
Yeah.
that has that.
Because so
And
many
you'll also
imposters.
find that's right. And you will also find a link to the ticket sales for the Gen X Takeover. So it's going to be the first link there.
Yes.
Go do it. And probably our merch stores. You're probably going to find all kinds of fun stuff. I've got a
Yes.
lot of links. So Kelly's got a lot
And
of links. Go check it out.
one more thing that I want to say about Nashville is that I get that this is like a Gen X thing, but like we're not going to be checking your ID at the door. Like I don't want like millennials and like zennials to think like they can't come. Like please, like this is open to everyone. Like you know, I make this Gen X content because it's funny and it's an exaggerated version of like how I feel about things. But like I am by no means like walking around in my real life like grumbling all day about like millennials and boomers. Like this is, don't feel like I've had so many people ask me like, hey, I want to come, but I was like born in 82. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is not just for Gen X people. We just all happen to be Gen X. So please, millennials, zennials, whatever you are, you just got to be 21.
Boomers. Boomers can come too.
Boomers, come on out.
Boomers. And if you bring somebody that's of the age before the boomers, you're responsible for them. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
Are
Would
they
you
still
ever
alive?
consider? Yes, they are. They're our president. Would you all ever consider touring with the whole Gen X group? If Nashville is a success, we would all love to go. Yes, that's exactly what we plan to do if Nashville is a
Yeah.
success, is we want to take the show on the road to God knows where. We've got lots of great ideas at different locations, but as soon as Nashville's done, I'm sure the conversation is going to start on that. But there may,
Yep.
here's a little secret. All right, teaser. November, the first week of November in 2025, you all need to clear your count. So I can't tell you any more than that. But the first week of November in 2025, you all need to clear your count. Something big is going to happen. It's going to be big. And you're going to want to be there. And Kelly's going to be there too. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Moving on to the comments. Wait, people actually attend high school reunions? Yes, they do. I'm trying to catch up to the comments. Comments come so fast, you guys. So if I don't get your comment, I do apologize because they're just coming in fast and furious.
Yeah, so where I live in St. Louis, the St. Louis area, I feel like my entire area feels so betrayed that I finally am doing something and it's not here. And so I've gotten that a lot. So it's like, yeah, if Nashville does well, and if this goes well, and it goes the way we think it's going to go, because like none of us have ever met each other. You know, we're going to meet each other for the first time. You know, but if this goes well and everything flows and we're all on the same page, then yeah, this might be a whole damn tour next year and we'll come to other cities and I promise we will come to St. Louis because I hear you all yelling at me loud and clear.
And I don't know about Charleston. We'll try. Maybe. We'll try.
I mean, it's beautiful out there. So,
Oh yeah, it's nice. As long as it's not summer. Okay. So from you, what advice would you give someone with social anxiety and not sharing anything about their life? Good question. Since you can.
I mean, then don't do it. Like, if it gives you anxiety, don't do it. Like,
That is the most Gen X response ever. I just want to point that
yeah,
out. It's the most Gen X response. Like, Doc, it hurts when I do that. Doc says,
then
don't
go
do
do
it.
it. Yeah, don't, because the reason that I'm so comfortable in front of cameras and in front of people is the authenticity that I know I'm exactly who I am when the cameras turn off. Like, there's not some secret other version of me that's like, a hateful person or has some crazy past. Like, I am who I am. So I put it all out there because I'm not afraid of anything. But so people who aren't comfortable with it, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I'm to the age now where, honest to God, I don't do anything I don't want to do. Nothing. Like, if I don't want to go somewhere, I don't go. If I don't want to eat something, I don't eat it. So, if you have anxiety, don't do it, but I mean, if you really want to do it, I would just say, obviously pick something that you love. In social media, everybody should have like a niche umbrella, which is like an umbrella with like 3 to 5 things under it that any content you do is going to fall under that umbrella. So for me, it's Gen X stuff, it's dancing, it's comedy, it's making fun of my kids, and like rap music. Like, any video I make, is going to be one of those 5 things. So pick 3 to 5 things and only post those things, and stick with your niche and make it things that you really enjoy.
Yep, exactly. I say the same thing, Tammy. Now, if you notice on my socials, I don't share a lot of personal stuff. I've shared some stuff about my son being, engaged, but that's just not my style. It's not really deep into the personal stuff. It's mostly comedy, and it's exactly the same strategy, right? You have a core set of things you go to. For mine, it's comedy. It's making fun of people that are not so bright. It's making fun of bad recipes, making fun of Australians or people that try to mess with anything in Australia,
Yeah.
and things like that. That kind of fills my gap of things that I can always bounce around to. So find your sweet spot if you're trying to do social media, and stick with it. And consistency is the key.
100%. Like, the thing is, every platform rewards consistency, every platform. And so what I also tell people is, like, you don't have to post 3 videos a day. People get in this like mindset of like, I got to do this many or that many. The platforms just want consistency. So if you're going to post 3 times a week, post 3 times a week every single week. If you're going to post 3 times a day, post 3 times a day every day. But you can't do 5 videos in 1 week and then 0 the second week, and then 1 the next week, and then 5 the next week, and be like, well, why aren't people following me? Because the algorithm is not going to push you out, because it does not, it rewards consistency. So authenticity and consistency are the top 2 things if you want to be in social media.
All right, Kelly, we're running out of time here. We're going to hit our hour mark here. Before we jump off, I always like to give my guests the opportunity to plug anything they want, to talk about anything they got coming up in their social media world, which we already talked about a lot of our stuff. But I'm going to give you the floor to talk about whatever you want to plug.
I'm pretty boring. I don't do a lot of stuff, but I do sell some pretty funny Gen X t-shirts. So they're called Gen X Shit. And each one says Gen X Shit on the front, and then the back, each one on the back is a little bit different. Can I go run and get one real quick?
Sure, go.
15 seconds. Time me. I'll be right back.
And while you're watching me, next guest in 2 weeks will be His Majesty, Mr. Professor Nick Harrison. So please check that out. That's already the event is already out there on Facebook. It's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, just like we are today. Mr. Nick Harrison, who will round out the 4 horsemen of the Gen X that will be at the Nashville Gen X Takeover. So that is in 2 weeks, same place, same time. Kelly, plug your gear.
So genxshit.shop. genxshit.shop. And each one has a different back. This one says we're older than Google and we don't like any of you. I think we had to change it from Google to the internet because I think Google tried to sue me. We know what it's like to take a dump without a cell phone. Again, the front is always Gen X Shit. We already did that one. Jarts Survivor. Even with the blood. at the bottom. I tried to get bloody kids with like jarts in their head, and my management team was like, Kelly, you're going too far. And I'm like, whatever.
And Kelly, they
Proud
can find those
owner
in your
of,
link tree, right?
yes, they're all in my link tree. Proud owner of 0 participation trophies.
That's awesome.
And then I think I have one more. What is
I
it?
have to buy some. I'm gonna buy some.
No, this is the dump without a cell phone one again. I think there's one more. I don't know. But we just do regular t-shirts and v-necks, and go to my link tree.
Are you gonna do hoodies? Are you gonna do hoodies?
I'm trying to. I'm getting there. I'm supposed to do them in the fall. So
Okay.
that's the
I
plan.
love hoodies.
I just have so many irons in the fire, John. I don't know if you feel like that, but like I just
I
feel
have
like
no idea what I'm doing to wake up. I just do it, and then the day ends. That's
so
kind of
it's
what
like
happens.
like when you just said, are you going to do hoodies? Like that just reminded me that like 3 months ago, I was like, I can't wait to do hoodies. And now I'm like, oh shit, I completely forgot about that. So, but right now we have t-shirts and v-necks. Go to genxshit.shop or just go to my link tree and you'll find it. But yeah, Gen X t-shirts, super fun.
Linktree is linked up there in the top, so you can use your phone and scan the QR code if you're on a separate device, and that does work. It'll take you straight to Kelly. Same thing with mine. And oh, by the way, over my this side shoulder, wherever it is, over there, are the ladies' editions of the DVD Nation hats that are designed by Missy DVD. So those are available now. They're going fast, so you better hurry. Otherwise, you're gonna be very sad because I don't want to make it. Anyway, Kelly, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
part of
John,
it.
and thank you for walking me through all this and like helping me get my
Yes,
setup and like
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
was very nervous about all this working.
And we are actually going to meet in person in
What?
Nashville in a few weeks. So one
And
more
I'm going to
plug
beat you in Jenga.
when she's going to try to beat me and Jacob, but realize that I'm better. Um, Gen X Takeover, September 1st, Nashville. Tickets are sold out for the comedy shows and the VIP, but the house party, which is the biggest bulk of the event, 6 to 11
100%.
o'clock
Like
at the
if this
60
were
Hip
a
Arcade.
wedding, the comedy show would be the ceremony and the house
Yeah,
party is like the reception.
exactly. That's where all the drinking and the fun and the dancing happens, is at the reception. Nobody goes, nobody wants to go to the
I
wedding.
might
Nobody
show up in a
cares.
palm uniform. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
We'll see.
Special surprise. You're going to see a comedy. I thought, two that three comedies get too. That'd be great.
Right? Just come out in that thing.
Just come out with your pom poms and just go at it. I mean, it's going to be a laugh.
I still have them. I have my palms. I have my full uniform. So don't
You're
tempt me
right
because
after me on the lineup, by the way. You do know that, right? It's
Oh, I
me,
am? No,
then
I don't know
you.
anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
me,
don't know
then
anything.
you, then Sherry, and then the professor at the
So
end.
you're kicking things off?
I know it's so much pressure, but also I can totally flunk at it, and it's okay because I'm perfect.
Okay. If you could be really bad, that'd be awesome because then I'll look good.
Well, I'm not going to give anything away, but I promise that my stories are going to be some very revealing stories about some funny shit that's happened to me. So that's all I can say.
All right. And did you see that Nick is wanting us to do like improv?
Yeah, we're doing improv too. We're doing improv, and also we're gonna put on some costumes. We're gonna act like each other. So one of you guys are gonna have to act like me.
Good Lord.
Good luck.
I'll find a Viking
Good luck.
beard. I think I have one.
Oh, all right, Kelly. Let's let these people go to bed because I know that it's 9 o'clock my time, so I'm definitely way past my bedtime.
Yep.
Thank you all for coming. Kelly, thank you again for doing this. It's been great. Mr. Professor Nick Harrison is on in 2 weeks. And that's all we got for today, people. Thank you. I love you. I really appreciate everybody coming and all the comments and interactions. And we will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Thank you,
Come to
guys. Thanks,
Nashville.
Kelly.